Yo, dog, Kenny Boucher here, Next Level Painting, hitting you up on the literal best of all days, coming to you from the Beats Lab in Hollywood, California. Salamanders are secretly easy. Here it is, we got this Primaris Hell Blaster Duder, and I'm going to show you how to make this guy look good in just a few simple steps. We got the Armor Painter up on deck. These are going to be the 3 paints I pulled out of the big box, and we're going to just try to make these work. First time, I put very little thought into it. I just saw 3 greens that look good, and let's make them work. We primed the model black. We're using the darkest green over the black. It's going to take a couple of thin coats to build it up, and it's going to have a nice dark quality to it because it is going on thin over black, so it's going to be its darkest self. Now, of course, we're going to switch to the mid-tone green. We're going to leave some of the dirty paint water in the pot. Next Level Painting 101. Marry your colors, guys. That's how you get the flawless transitions. Now, we're going to go in with a large cone. Take a step back, and we're just going to spray from the top down, and we're going to let all of that paint hit this model. We're not going to really aim anywhere. We're just going to kind of let it happen. You know, we're doing our normal like shoulders, heads, tops of the backpack, feet, all that stuff, but we're down to let this green get wherever it get because it's going to be playing off of the dark green, and anywhere in the shadows we miss is going to stay dark black green and have a really natural shade to it. This really isn't the mid-tone. This is kind of like the fuzz between the dark and the mid. That's kind of always been my system. So it's already a beautiful looking color. Now we're going to switch to that jungle green. I've had my eye on you, jungle green. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to marry the colors together using previous colors from the last 2 steps. This is going to be our true mid-tone where it's much brighter, but still not our brightest. And we're going to start aiming it a little bit more, being a little bit more precise, try to direct our flow, getting a little bit closer with the airbrush, using a lot more air, a lot less paint, letting it dry. Even though it's thin, it's never going to pull up. That's the system. Let there be plenty of air and make it happen. You can see we're getting some nice, clean transitions, but it's still not there yet. Like, we need that salamander style. Salamander, I like to bring that brightness. And one of the best things you can do with greens is to always bring a little yellow into it. It makes it just look that much more baller. So let's just reset with jungle green. Let's dump the pot. Okay, this is going to be its truest self, okay? We're going to thin it down with some flow improver. We're going to redo what we just did, okay? But this has no common link. Now that we've done all those color combinings, the fuzz is there. It's going to slide in perfectly. You risk, if you just went from the darkest green to the brightest green without any of those midtones, it will get a little grainy. It will get a little speckled on you. It wouldn't look good. So this is kind of my system right here, how we keep it icy at all times. So we're just going to make these minor adjustments, let punch it up a notch, bring some of that more vibrancy to it. We're going to go slide back into moon dust. We used this in the previous tutorial on the Imperial Fist. We're going to mix that in the pot, create a nice little highlight. It's a little desaturated. The moon dust is a little bit more desaturated yellow than I want it to be. So we're going to go in there and just try to pop out the highlights the best we can, but it can kind of flatten the green a little bit, and that's okay. I'll show you some simple tricks. We actually did it in the Imperial Fist tutorial. After we did our edge highlights, I showed you how you can go back and kind of glaze and bring the vibrancy back in, resaturate the colors as it were. So we're just aiming everywhere we need to. Remember, the shoulder pads and salamanders are black, so what I'm really doing is aiming at the trim. They get ourselves some nice transition on the trim, and then we'll cut the black in later. Building up those highlights, making it look its absolute best. It's truly beautiful. I love working with greens. Green is perhaps my favorite of all colors. Coming to you. So now we're going to reset pure jungle green, and we're going to thin it down. You see I just put a drop in there, and I'm going to put a lot of water and a lot of flow improver, so it's basically just a dirty paint water glaze. Look how thin it is. It's preposterously thin. We'll add a little bit more, make sure we get a little bit more stick than that. And what I'm actually going to do is just kind of re-airbrush, re-zenithal highlight the model, and it's going to stick to all of that desaturated yellow, and it's going to punch it back up. It's going to be saturated again, resaturated. Just a real thin coat. At any time you do a highlight and you don't like the look of it, it looks a little desaturated, this is all you got to do, man. Got an airbrush. It's a tool. Make it work for you. So real quick, we'll use a little Vallejo earth texture. I had a new product from Gamer's Grass. Gamer's Grass got these new fresh base add-on kit. This Tempo Ruins. I'm going to pick out a piece, combine it with some of that pumice, and I'm going to throw it on the base right now during the dry time. Pow! Look at that. Fucking love it. So we got to let this model sit and dry. But first, I just painted all the details for you real quick. Hey guys, it's Orktober exclusive coming to you from hereticswag.com. Don't miss it out. We're going to be bringing so much orc hype over on Twitch. Be there, be square. Get that fresh new orc tea. All right, now that all the details are done, and I've shown you guys how to paint these details, so in our new formula, I'm basically going to just fast forward through the details, and I'm going to show you how to do the edges, those final highlights. So we just took that moon yellow and that jungle green and mixed them together 50-50, and we're going to just start going through and tracing out some lines. Now, we're not going to trace every line, just the lines that really add to the look. See, we got some nice dimension, some solid transitions, so we're going to just kind of cut in some hard 90-degree angles, kind of set it toward the top. We're not going to trace every line. We're going to trace just most of a line. Right here in the shoulder pads, you see we cut all the black into the fields. We left some of that green intact. We're just going to kind of cut the inner shoulder pad in, that L, that 90-degree cut. Same thing we're going to do his face, just a spine on his nose guard there, like kind of the under the eyes, the eyeliner. Same thing, just kind of the underline, the under highlight on the backpack. Simple things like that. If you trace it all, you're just making too much work for yourself. You don't need to do it all. Just pick out the areas that make sense. And even if they don't make sense, they look electric, I don't give a shit, man. I don't paint models to pursue realism, but I don't try to make more work than I have to. Same thing here in the foot. We're just going to cut in some of it. You see, like bottom corner, kind of slide it up. Don't even complete the line, you see? Just add to it as you go. This overall is not a very difficult process. So here in the Hellblaster, I did paint it red. And progressively, what we're going to do is start adding oranges and yellows to it. So first I added some orange to the red. And we're just going to kind of quickly paint the coils, leaving some red intact. And we're not going to do like a huge OSL here or anything like that. I'm just going to keep it nice and fiery. It's a good color. Maybe later I'll do an OSL video. But you see just some orange, glaze it in, progressively just make it smaller toward the top. We're not really focused on if it's, you know, any kind of source lighting here. We just want the coils to look hot. No big deal. We're going to add a little yellow to the mix, cut it in, just rough it in. If you keep the paints thin, and you just keep progressively adding to it, and instead of like repainting it over and over again, you can add a little white even to the final tops of the coils. Sketch it in. Like I said, as long as you keep it thin, it's gonna look fine. We're not gonna overthink it here. No airbrush, nothing, just banging it out with the old paintbrush. Looking good, keeping it hot. Now let's go back to the details here. Let's do some of this black highlighting. This is just black and white, guys. It's just gray. Ain't nothing crazy here. I just literally took the black and the white and mix them together, and we're going to slide a couple of clean edges in on these knee pads. I also painted black for a little bit more of an accent here. I'm going to just carve in a fake highlight on the semicircle there. Same thing on the shoulder pads. I'm going to carve in a fake inner highlight. I like to just draw a clean line that emulates the trim, that 90-degree cut, that L. Pow! And if you keep it thin and you keep it kind of muted, it'll look just fine. And if you ever fuck up those lines, you can always go back to the black and just use it as an eraser. Kind of edit it. We're going to go back to the flame. Remember how earlier I desaturated the yellow and then I used the green to fix it? Same thing here. We got a little bit of a desaturated effect on the flame. So all you do is go back to the orange, thin it down, and you just bring some of that orange back into it as a glaze. It should snap it right back into saturation. Dark tone. This is basically black wash from Army Painter. We're going to wash the Hellblaster, all the metal. Super easy. Using a bigger brush. We cut it a little bit with some quick shade mixing medium. Basically acrylic medium. And we're going to use light brush pressure, gentle strokes, light dabbing motions where necessary. You're just trying to transfer the wash. You're not trying to wick it back and forth like a windshield wiper. Put it down. Manipulate it, throw it around. He's got pouches and stuff I'm going to do with this too. All sorts of stuff. I'm going to let a little bit even get in the bottom of the coils. I'm very unconcerned about these coils. I'm going to throw a little bit on his chest eagle, his Aquila. All that shit, man. Make it look its best. And I do love that Aquila, but it needs a little bit of a wash, and I prefer black. It gives me a better, more solid antiquing. I like the extra contrast I get from the black wash here. All right, guys. Can't do a video without Mr. Hobby multi-black spray gunner. Big shout out to Spray Gunner, North American distributor of this product. So I'm just gonna raw dog the multi-black. This is an oil wash, guys, right over the unprimed resin base accent from Gamer's Grass and the pumice. I'm just gonna raw dog it. Bro, you don't even need to paint these base accents. If you just hit it with a black oil wash, it will look like stone. You don't have to do shit. It's so fucking ghetto. I love it. Oil wash all day, every day. All right. Slide up. Since I have the oil wash out, I'm going to throw a little bit in his eyes, get a little bit in on some of the details on his face, thin it down a little bit. Since I have it, you know. I don't want to use an all-over wash on this model. I'm trying to keep it real crisp on purpose to kind of contrast the Imperial Fist we did last week, where I kind of kept it kind of dirty. I want this guy to be vibrant. Same thing, we're going to grab the silver and we're just going to sketch out some quick edges on the Hellblaster. You know, kind of aggro, you know, a little aggressive here. I'm not trying to make it look anywhere remotely realistic. I just want it to be fun. I have a blast when I paint Hellblasters. So you noticed earlier we threw a couple of spots of glazed red in some of these holes. What I'm doing now is just adding a little bit of yellow. Like I'm dotting this rapid fire red glaze I did. It was almost not even worth showing, but I figured I'd show you this stage. Just glaze the red in, dot the yellow in, and then come back and glaze the orange in. Once the yellow's dry, let it fuzz together. Pow! Ghetto OSL. Looks like it's glowing. Minimal effort. Maximum effect. Now we're going to just dry brush that silly unpainted statue with some straight white. And we're just going to add a little bit of dimension to it. Give us this quick ass OG dry brush right here. We added a little brown to the mix, so it's not just white over brown, but guys, this was an actually easy workup. This was so low stress. This was faster than the Imperial Fist in every way. Yo, Salamanders secretly easy? Yes or no? You tell me in the comments, guys. You want to see more content like this? Don't hesitate to let me know over on Patreon. Play on, players. If you like these tutorials, check out Next Level Painting on Patreon. Become a patron of the arts today. We offer early and exclusive access to our videos and a rewards program for different pledge levels. Patreon is PayPal and credit card secure, so you don't have to worry about that. We use 100% of the money to improve our process.